Okay, I am at a shipper and I'm doing something I haven't done for a while because I wasn't going to do this anymore, but the opportunity arose and I jumped on it. I'm looking for a white gooseneck in the front with an orange trailer in the back. Let's see, 702, that's not it. That looks like that's going to be it right there. I'm going to say that's probably it. Oh great, it's a cargo trailer in the back. That kind of sucks. But I think this is going to be my set. Pull over here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the only orange and white set I see out here. These here, these guys. So I'm going to check the VIN on these, make sure they are correct. I'll be back. Yep, this is my set. Let me get around here and get them hitched up. I'm not going that way. I'm going to go this way. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I had my breakfast. I forgot that I had the video running. I'm on Highway 377 heading over to Highway 69, and I'll go north on 69 all the way up, almost all the way up to where I deliver these. So I did a couple of things this morning. On the way over, I stopped for breakfast, got a cup of coffee, and then I stopped off again and had my truck inspected for my DOT inspection, because I realized last week it was due. So the garage that the company I run for owns does DOT inspection, so it was real handy. I could get in there without having to wait this morning, and they just got it done and got me going. So I'm all current on that. These trailers are pulling pretty well. I'm not having any trouble running 60. It's not squirreling around back there at all. So they must have centered up the hitch really well on this lead trailer. And I didn't expect to have any trouble with it because the main trailer, the front trailer's a gooseneck. So that usually eliminates the problems with the fishtailing. Not always, but most of the time it does. There goes a turkey flying across the road. You don't see that very often. That's a pretty good flyer. I'm getting up into kind of the midsection of Oklahoma now. So I started out pretty close to the south border, about 60 miles. But I'm about 100 miles farther north now. Well, maybe 80 miles farther north. Don't know why the thing just turned itself off, the camera. But I just turned it back on. So I am on Highway 69. I have no idea how much of that you got before, but we're going through Eufaula, Oklahoma right now. And we're running alongside and have crossed over in a couple of places, Lake Eufaula. And we've got another stretch of it to cross up here. Okay, we're going to cross some more of the lake. I'm going to go ahead and zoom it back out a little bit. Maybe you can see more. I don't know how much you can see up here within these concrete barriers. It's a big old lake, big lake. See, the redbuds are still blooming. There's one there. I'm going to zoom back in now since we're pretty much over the lake. I can't get over in the other lane. I got a truck back here blocking me. Otherwise, I would have gotten over and given them guys a little more room. Okay, so I'm on Interstate 44. Up in the northeast corner of Oklahoma, and I'm 24 miles from delivering these trailers. And I'll get off the interstate here, off the turnpike, in about 15 miles, and I'll have another 10 miles to go on surface roads. So I just saw something real interesting back there at the toll gate. They had 3 sets of these triple tied together cars that they haul through here down to Mexico all the time. I'm always seeing them. And they're just beat up crappy cars that they go into the interior and buy at auctions. And they string 3 of them together and haul them down into Mexico. Now, I've wondered for years if that's even legal, if those people are doing this just on a regular driver's license, because right now I'm pulling 2 trailers and I'm driving a vehicle. They're doing the same thing, just with cars as trailers. And I'm required to have a CDL with doubles and triples endorsements in order to be able to do this legally. So it makes me wonder what kind of requirements are on these guys, because I mean they're not running like a commercial truck that's in good condition and that's been inspected and everything. They're buying crap cars at auctions and towing 2 other crap cars with 1 other crap car that they buy at an auction. So they don't know anything about these vehicles. And a lot of times the vehicles they're doing the towing with are damaged. They have parts falling off of them or parts in the back of them. So it makes me wonder, but they had 3 sets of them pulled over back there at the toll gate. And I'll tell you, if I was still a cop, I'd be pulling them over and searching them. I'd at least run a drug dog around them, because to me, it doesn't seem economically feasible to make any money going and getting piece of shit beat up cars that don't run or that are just, beat to shit, and then hauling them to Mexico and then selling them down there. How are they making money on that? Because these cars are not worth anything. So it makes me wonder if that, and I've wondered this for years, if that isn't one of the prime ways that the cartels move drug money back out of the United States. Because they've got to get it back out of here somehow. And what better way than stuffing it inside of some crappy old car that nobody would, even think twice about. Come on, guy, I got to get over. It's just bizarre to me that I've never seen one of them pulled over before. So I saw 3 of them all pulled over. Looked very interesting. I'd like to be a fly on the wall and see what they're actually doing with that. The troopers are out in force today. They are swarming. So it's always interesting to me to see who they're pulling over. They're doing their usual percentage of big trucks and running their inspections on big trucks. But here comes another one. Now, see what I mean? This is a crappy car pulling 2 other crappy cars. It's a real good example. The one on the back was absolutely wrecked on a trailer and being towed backwards. So you can't tell me they're making money off of those. They're coming up here and buying them and then hauling them all the way to Mexico at today's fuel prices. Something's fishy with that. I don't know. I'm not buying it. Call me suspicious, because I am. I was a cop long enough that I think I'm permanently suspicious now. I always wonder what the actual motive is behind the stuff I see. What are they actually doing? It looks like they may be doing one thing, but what are they actually doing? What's the actual point here? Does it make sense? Is it logical? And a lot of what I see, it's not. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. So I don't know. But I was very glad to see some of them pulled over. And I noticed another thing about them. They travel in mass. They travel at least in pairs or triplets. And now that's 4 of them within 5 miles that I've seen. So they probably go up as a group and then come back in a couple of different groups, depending on how well their crappy lead car, their towing car, can run. So, but every once in a while you'll see one alone, but not very often. Usually there's another one within a few miles of it. Anyway, just something I've noticed. Something I'm curious about. One of those things, man, if I still had the badge, I'd be investigating it, because it doesn't smell right. Does not smell right. So speaking of something else that doesn't smell right, I've been listening to coverage of leading up to President Trump being arrested in Manhattan. And I've actually been listening to Megyn Kelly's show, and she's been talking about this with Alan Dershowitz and a couple other people, and just giving different perspectives on it, you know, from a legal standpoint and all this and that, from a cultural standpoint, those kind of things. And I'll tell you, you know, this harkens back to when Bill Clinton actually did commit crime by lying about Monica Lewinsky. I mean, he actually did. It was undeniable he committed a crime. He committed perjury when he swore he had nothing to do with that woman. Well, he did have something to do with that woman, and it was nefarious. And everybody in Washington on the Democrat side defended him and demanded that he not be charged with any crimes. They didn't want him impeached. They didn't want him charged with any criminal activity, nothing. But now these same people, when it's the Republican guy, now they're all going after him and wanting blood. And the media, who is now a joke, the media is a complete joke. You can't trust anything they say anymore. They're all, you know, smelling blood in the water, and they're circling like a bunch of sharks. There's not one media person on any kind of media television who's being impartial about this in any way, shape, or form. None of them. And 99% of them want to see him hanged on the wall. That's what they want. So, you know, this can go a couple of ways, and some of this stuff they discussed on Megyn Kelly's show today. Somebody had an opinion that this could signal the end of politicians keeping their hands off of each other, basically, and signal the beginning of a new era where the ruling party, so to speak, goes after and charges the front runner of the opposing party with criminal acts. And this could go, I mean, the Democrats have set the precedent now. So this is a terrible precedent to set in this country, because it's just not fair and it's not ethical. It's horrible. This is something that's going to come back to bite them in the ass in a big way, because at some point there's going to be some Republican who decides tit for tat, they did it to us, by God, we're going to do it to them, and then all bets are off. There will never be another chance. There will never be another time in history, the history of this country, that our political foes won't pull out that, you know, the jail card on their opponent. And even if the Republicans decide to take the high road and not retaliate that way, now that they've done it once, they're going to do it again. The Democrats will. Because the Democrats who are in control of the Democrat Party are deranged. They are plumb frickin' crazy, and they don't have any ethics. They don't have any morals. They don't even have standards. They don't have any concept of how badly or actually maybe they do have a concept. They are destroying this country intentionally. So I shouldn't say they don't have any concept. They do. They have a very good concept, because this is intentional destruction of the country of America. They're killing our rule of law. That's the one thing that has set America apart from most other countries, is that the rule of law has been absolute. It wasn't a rule of persons. We weren't ruled by a king or an emperor, or, you know, a king and his cronies. Well, that changed today. Now we are being ruled by the Democrat class, and they are in charge of Washington, D.C. They're in charge of this country, even though they have nothing but disdain for most of the inhabitants of this country. And yeah, even their own party members that aren't of the same class as they are. The only thing they want from them is a vote, and then they could give a shit less. You know, as long as you vote Democrat, that's great. Now get out of my face. That's their attitude. And they've taken a big step today at basically destroying the rule of law in America. So I know that a lot of people are going to be out here cheering and carrying on and being all happy that President Trump's been arrested, because there are a certain amount of people in this country who are idiots enough that they think he's actually done something that he can be arrested for. As a matter of fact, he hasn't. They haven't proven it, and I don't think they'll be able to prove it. I think it's going to be real interesting when this does go to court. Watch how biased the prosecution and the judge in New York City is going to be. Because the first thing that President Trump's lawyers are going to ask for is for the judge to throw out the charges based on the fact that even if there was some impropriety, the statute of limitations is long since over with. Of course, the judge, evidently this is a judge who has an axe to grind with President Trump, so he's not going to go along with that. The second thing they're probably going to ask for is a change of venue. And because this is a judge who has an axe to grind with President Trump, he's probably not going to go along with that either. So it's going to be really kind of weird seeing how this all goes down. But I think that we're seeing the beginning of the death of America. I think that's what we're seeing today. Because once we've lost the rule of law, we've lost our uniqueness, and we've lost what sets us apart from the other countries in the world that we rightfully were criticizing for not having a rule of law. And today we just kind of officially became a banana republic. And it's pretty sad, you know, it's a sad damn day. But I'm afraid that about half of this country is not going to see it that way, that they're going to be laughing and living it up and partying over it and carrying on like this is some great thing, not realizing that, yeah, you're in control right now, but what goes around comes around. And I don't know that our politicians, considering the fact that most of them don't seem to have such high moral character or such ethical bounds to them, don't be surprised when they turn around and do the same thing to your guy, because the die has been set. So, you know, this is nothing that can be fixed, I don't believe. Until it's frowned on by both parties, and until both parties stand up against it. And right now, the Democrat Party's not standing up against it. They're all for it, you know. It's horrible. It's un-American. It's as un-American as you can get. It's Russian type, you know, USSR type activity. This is what they do in Russia to their political opponents, you know. This is what they do in third world countries to their political opponents. It's not what we've done in the United States to political opponents. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, we have once. Woodrow Wilson, back in like 1910, actually did the same thing to one of his political opponents, who happened to be a socialist. So actually there is a precedent for this. And again, it was a Democrat choosing to go after a political opponent by having them arrested. So, you know, either we oppose this, and the whole country unites around the idea that we don't act this way in America, which would be wonderful if it would happen, but I doubt that it's going to, because the media is all about pushing this and making this even worse than it already is, because they're so anti-President Trump that they're not going to be the voice of reason. There was a time when the media would have been a voice of reason and would have questioned and pushed back against something so blatantly illegal and unethical. But we really don't have that kind of media in this country any longer. So unless people just wake the hell up and realize how horrible of a precedent this is to set, I think what we're seeing is, you know, the beginning of the end of America. And I think that's terrible. I think it's horrible that these woke bastards in Manhattan are willing to destroy our country to punish their political opponent, who showed them for being the pieces of shit that they really are. You know, he exposed them for being corrupt and for being exactly what they're acting like right now. President Trump showed us what these people in the swamp are like. Washington, D.C., Manhattan, New York. The people in the highest positions of power in those places are so corrupt and so evil that they're willing to sacrifice the United States of America, everything we stand for, everything that our soldiers have fought and died for. They're willing to sacrifice all of that for the momentary pleasure they're going to get out of tormenting Donald Trump. That's how petty and low and disgusting and despicable these people really are. I don't even know what more I can say about that. I mean, there's just not strong enough language. But anyway, I can't change anything they're doing. All I can do is go vote when it's my turn, which I will. And I imagine so will most everybody else in the country. I just don't know if there are enough sane people left in this country to override the combination of the votes and the cheating that the Democrat Party has gotten so good at. I don't know. I think our country is lost. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's really bumming me out. But I will say that I am 4.9 miles away from delivering these trailers, and I'm running a little later than I wanted to be running. It was just the limitations of pulling 2 trailers. It's slower. I couldn't drive 75 with 2 trailers. So, you know, the consequences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up here and deliver these, and then I'm going to find a place to pee and figure out how far I am from Oklahoma City and call my broker and see if I can get there, I'll go. If I can't get there, maybe I can arrange to pick it up in the morning or something else. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not real hopeful that I can even get over there before 5, because traffic in Oklahoma City has been getting worse for the last few months, and now it's gotten to where it's really bad for a lot of the day, and especially going in that late in the afternoon. I'm probably going to get stuck in traffic, and I doubt that I'm going to be able to make it before 5, so we'll see. I'll just have to see what I come up with after I get this delivered, because I still got to get this done before I even think about doing that. So you know, that's the thing, you got to do everything in order. And this place is not in town, it's 3 miles outside the other end of town. So that's where I'm going to be hauling these too. Okay, that place looks like it's closed. I may have fun finding a place to pee when I get done. Three more miles, guys. It's a pleasant little town. This is Fairland, Oklahoma. Friends Flea Market. A big old load. I'm going to try and get over some. Give him as much room as I can give him. He's got to stay out of the way of the mailboxes and stuff. All stuff sticking out in the road. Two more miles. This place is way the hell out here. If I remember rightly, it's kind of funky getting in there a lot too. Seems like it's a little tight, a little squinchy. I guess I'm not running too late. It's about 1:30, and that's kind of when I thought I would be here. I'm going to be a couple minutes after 1:30, but that's not bad. I didn't stop the whole way up here, so I definitely have to take my break. That's going to affect whether or not I can get back to Oklahoma City in time, pretty much. Tenths of a mile, so we're almost there. Almost. I think I see their sign. I will be very glad to get unhitched from these. And I'm not going to unhook them for the guy. The last time I was here, he says, "Are you going to unhook those?" I'm like, "No." That's not what I do. I deliver them, I don't unhook them. So if he asks me that today, I'm going to tell him what WW has joined together. This woman will not pull us under. See a little humor. Gets him thinking, oh great, what the hell? Oh my gosh. It figures. It figures. Okay, so where's their driveway? I guess that's it up there. What a cluster. Okay. I'm going to take off my mic here for a moment. I thought it was funky getting in here before. It's even funkier now. Okay, I got plenty of room though. That's good. Alrighty then. Hoping he'll let me drop here last time he made me haul them down around the end. It was a pain in my butt. So we'll go find out. And 2, 4, 3, 4, 7. I just delivered.
Get the real facts about the timeshare industry.
And my GPS says my ETA in Oklahoma City is 5:43 p.m. So no, I'm not going to make it in time to get it today. Just to get a good look at them here, what I just delivered. That's what I just dragged up here. So, alright. So there's no way I can make it back to pick up the trailer in Oklahoma City before they close. It's going to take me 45 minutes longer to get to Oklahoma City if I go back that way than it would. So they'll be closed for 3/4 of an hour before I can even get there. So that's a no-go, I think. Maybe he'll figure out something else for me, but I'm gonna run down here and see if there's some place to take a break anyway. I'm not gonna make it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, it would be like 5:45 before I got there.
But I gotta find somebody. Alright, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, well, since that's not happening, I can just freaking go home, which I'm just freaking gonna do. And I'm not gonna run Interstate 45. I already spent like $13 on the toll just to get up here, so I think I'm gonna circumvent that on the way back. I don't feel any reason to pay the state of Oklahoma any more in tolls than I have to today. All sense of urgency is gone. So I got that here as fast as the law allowed, the law on the trailers, and I actually got here within 5 minutes of the time that my GPS said I was going to get here. So I did massively well getting it here as early as I did. So, you know, I have not been dragging my feet. Just in case you were wondering, there was no way that was going to happen. And the only reason he probably even asked me about that was because he's out, it sounds like he's out in his truck somewhere hauling, so he's not sitting around looking at the computer and figuring the distances himself. Otherwise, he would have known that it was not going to happen. But that's okay, because he'll either find somebody to do it or he won't. If he doesn't, maybe I'll go do it tomorrow. If you can't find anybody today to get it. Buffalo Rural Fire Department. Buffalo's clear over by the Panhandle. That must be a vintage or antique type of fire truck that I saw back there in those people's front yard. Okay, I'm not really seeing too much in the way of a good place to stop and do anything in this town, so I guess I'm going to have to just go on. Their fuel's higher here than what I've been seeing. That might be where I wanted to go, actually. Oh, okay. 4.5 miles. Highway 60. Okay, awesome. So I can just take the back way back to 69. That's what this is telling me. Without getting on the interstate again, which I don't want to get on. The interstate here is the toll road, so I do not want to get on the toll road again. Maybe somewhere along the way here I'll run into some place that I can stop and get something to drink. We will see. Let me test this out. That's not what I want that. Nope, no Starbucks within any reasonable distance. Okay. Highway 69, going back the way I came for a while anyway. I'm not going to stay on 69 as far because I don't need to. So I'm going to peel off of 69 at some point and cut over into western Oklahoma. But I am going to go south far enough to get past the Interstate 40 corridor, which is about 40 more miles up here. And I'm pretty sure that there's a road I can take out of Eufaula that I can cut west on, probably Eufaula over to Ada, and then get home that way. So that's kind of how I'm going to go. I'm not going to mess with Oklahoma City or getting into any other city traffic. I'm just not going to do it. So with that in mind, I need to stop and fuel up. I've got 217 miles worth of fuel left on the truck, and I'm 224 miles from home. So what I can do is, I think down here in Wagner, this is Wagner that we're getting into now, I think I saw the cheapest fuel down here at the QT, and whether it is or not, that's where I'm going to stop and fuel up, I think. And then I'm going to get on down the road and get home, because I have storms actually between me and home. They don't look like they're severe or anything at this point. They're kind of like afternoon storms, early afternoon storms. They may get cranked up this evening though, because as hot as it is, it's 80 degrees out there. It's not cool. And with all the humidity that's coming up from the Gulf, I mean, it's really, really super humid. So I expect storms this afternoon, actually. If we get some cool air blowing in from the west or something, that could fire them up. And I suspect that might be what's going on. 334. That's pretty damn cheap. I was going to go for the QT. Let me go for the QT. I like their diesel. I've never had any problem with that. I've never bought diesel at that particular station back there. It's probably fine. Looked like a big enough station to where they probably sell enough of it. But that's what I thought. I thought I saw it in the 30s down here. This is great. Stuff as much in this tank as I can get. Yeah, man. And I'll show you my Farmer's Defense sleeves too when I wash the windshield. Which I will do, so you can see what I'm doing. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna back this off here. Okay. And a glove. Feels like a glove when I'm touching a diesel pump because they get all slimy and I don't want to smell like diesel all the way home. longer. Just gonna get on. But I'd like to thread the needle between these storms. I don't want to be sitting here too long. Rush hour in Wagner. I guess that's what this is. This is a pretty busy part of the state. There are a lot more people here than there are in my little corner of the state. Okay, good. My fuel tank is as full as I can get it. Quite literally. McAllister, 76 miles. I don't think I have to go all the way to McAllister. I can go to Eufaula and cut across. So that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm back again. Maybe I'll actually be able to stick around a little bit this time. I think we're done talking on the phone for a while. So this is the back way in around all of Pauls Valley and Elmore City and all that. So we'll still go through Elmore City. I'm going to kind of keep my eye open just in case there's a barbecue place there that's open. I don't think there is. I don't think there's much of anything there. But if there is, I'm going to get some brisket and take home. So we were just talking about, you know, it'd be nice if we had some kind of a barbecue place close to home where I could stop and grab some barbecue, you know, some brisket. So I'll look. I don't think there is, but and if there is, they're probably, I would guess they're not going to be open this late, or they're not open on weekdays. A lot of times in these little towns you'll see like a barbecue place, but they're only open weekends or Fridays and Saturdays or whatever. So I may be surprised. There may be something here, but I got my doubts. I don't think there's going to be anything here. So we're on Highway 29. We just turned on to 29 back there. That back road we took was called Airport Road, and it runs from the backside of Pauls Valley over to the top of the hill back there where we popped out at onto Highway 29. So it's really a good shortcut. It cuts off a lot of miles. And the only drawback to it is it's a slow road. The speed limit's 45 through there. And when you go through there, if you don't run 45, you're just asking for a ticket, because I've seen them in there running radar. It's another one of those places, you know, one of my favorite places, a speed trap. I'm very well aware of most of the local speed traps. I pay attention to that kind of thing because I really don't want to get a ticket on my CDL. It's like a really bad thing to do, to get a ticket for speeding when you've got a CDL. It's not good. Wow, the sun is, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's trying to break through the clouds. Let's see if I can lift you up just a little bit. See that? That's the first I've seen of the sun today at all. And it's trying. Okay. And Elmore City is also a speed trap. A lot of these little towns, that's one of the main ways they supplement their tax base, is by writing speeding tickets. Because they can, you know, they have the right to do it. They have municipal codes that allow for it, and they're allowed by the state to do it. So So there's not really anything wrong with them doing it. I just pay attention to where they're at so I don't end up getting a ticket myself because I don't want one. So I'm not like calling them out on being a speed trap to be negative. It's for self-preservation more than anything. Okay, fuel over here is $3.59. I got to remember that. Okay, I don't see a barbecue place. Not really. No. So Elmore City is the town that Footloose was written about. This is it. And the funny thing about that is that this was not the only town in Oklahoma that did not allow dancing at schools in the 70s. Because the school I went to over in Sterling had the same rule. No dances. It was pretty common back in the day because these towns were populated largely by Southern Baptists, and it was against their credo to dance. There was an old Southern Baptist joke. Bill actually told me, if I can remember it. I think it was something along the lines of, why don't Southern Baptists allow parking? And the answer is because it might lead to dancing. I think that's the gist of it anyway.